Hello and welcome. In this video, we will discover the 7 common habits that make people dislike you instantly. Are you ever bothered by the vague, nagging feeling that people don't like you? That there's something about you that puts people off without you even being aware of what it is you're doing? Maybe you find yourself checking to see if you have bad breath or body odor that you've been oblivious to all this time. Whether you like it or not, there are things that you do that make people dislike you. Have you ever walked into a room and there was a know-it-all in the vicinity? You could whip up a conversation on any topic, and that person would act as if they were an expert on it. Before you can even gather your emotions and thoughts, you already dislike the person. In some cases, if someone feels a strong dislike for you, they make it clear. But often, society might force them to try to hide it. Hate is a complicated emotion, and very often someone will hate it when you do something, but doesn't hate you. Though some might say they don't care about what others think of them and genuinely mean it, I'd argue that the vast majority feels otherwise. Even if someone else's opinion only matters a bit to you, you've probably felt at least somewhat curious if it was a negative critique. I, for one, know. I've been on the receiving end of many judging you stares, and I am left scratching my head trying to figure out what I did. As it turns out, there are some common daily habits that you don't realize make people think less of you. Too many people succumb to the mistaken belief that being likable comes from natural, unteachable traits that belong only to a lucky few, the good-looking, the fiercely social, and the incredibly talented. It's easy to fall prey to this misconception. In reality, being likable is under your control, and it's a matter of emotional intelligence. On the other hand, you might be that person that has something to say about everything. The problem is that we aren't always aware of the things that we do that make people dislike us. See if you can spot your behavior in the list below. The following tips will help you determine if someone hates you and help you act accordingly. But just before we dive in, make sure you subscribe to the channel and don't forget to download your free book to change your life by clicking on the link in the description below the video. 1. Name dropping. It's great to know important and interesting people, but using every conversation as an opportunity to name drop is pretentious and silly. Just like humble bragging, people see right through it. Instead of making you look interesting, it makes people feel as though you're insecure and overly concerned with having them like you. It also cheapens what you have to offer. When you connect everything you know with who you know, instead of what you know or what you think, conversations lose their color. People are averse to those who are desperate for attention. Simply being friendly and considerate is all you need to win people over. When you speak in a friendly, confident, and concise manner, people are much more attentive and persuadable than if you try to show them that you're important. People catch on to your attitude quickly and are more attracted to the right attitude than to who you know. So resist the urge to name drop when you're talking to people. It comes off as slightly insecure at best and wildly desperate at worst. Trust that people want to spend time with you because you're you, not because you were at a party with so-and-so or because this or that well-known person talked to you once. 2. Emotional hijackings. My company provides 360-degree feedback assessments, and we come across far too many instances of people throwing things, screaming, making people cry, and other telltale signs of an emotional hijacking. An emotional hijacking demonstrates low emotional intelligence. As soon as you show that level of instability, people will question whether or not you're trustworthy and capable of keeping it together when it counts. Exploding at anyone, regardless of how much they might deserve it, turns a huge amount of negative attention your way. You'll be labeled as unstable, unapproachable, and intimidating. Controlling your emotions keeps you in the driver's seat. When you're able to control your emotions around someone who wrongs you, they end up looking bad instead of you. 3. Humble bragging. We all know those people who like to brag about themselves behind the mask of self-deprecation. For example, the gal who makes fun of herself for being a nerd when she really wants to draw attention to the fact that she's smart. Or the guy who makes fun of himself for having a strict diet when he really wants you to know how healthy and fit he is. Can you believe guys were hitting on me at the bar tonight when I didn't even bother putting on makeup and my hair is totally pulled into a greasy ponytail? Oh boy. OMG, the Wi-Fi in this Paris Airbnb keeps cutting out. Sorry, I know it's so annoying. Yes, we all have our own examples of the notorious #humble brag, and they are all equally irritating. Look, if you want people to know how hot you are or that you're on a fancy trip, just tell them outright. No one is falling for your self-deprecating routine. Come right out and be just as self-aggrandizing as you please. At least people might have more respect for you that way. While many people think that self-deprecation masks their bragging, everyone sees right through it. This makes the bragging all the more frustrating, because it isn't just bragging, it's also an attempt to deceive. 4. Sharing too much too early. While getting to know people requires a healthy amount of sharing, sharing too much about yourself right off the bat comes across wrong. Be careful to avoid sharing personal problems and confessions too quickly. Likable people let the other person guide them as to when it's the right time for them to open up. Oversharing comes across as self-obsessed and insensitive to the balance of the conversation. Think of it this way. If you're getting into the nitty-gritty of your life without learning about the other person first, you're sending the message that you see them as nothing more than a sounding board for your problems. Also, studies have shown that people who overshare on social media do so because they crave acceptance. But the Pew Research Center has revealed that this oversharing works against them by making people dislike them. Sharing on social media can be an important mode of expression, but it needs to be done thoughtfully and with some self-control. Letting everyone know what you ate for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, along with how many times you walked your dog today, will do much more harm than good when it comes to likability. Being upfront with people about who you are and how you feel is great up to a point, but go easy. If you've just met someone, keep your personal problems and intimate confessions to yourself, at least until it seems like an appropriate time to share. Try being more concerned about the person you're talking to than you are about pouring out your own tales of woe. If you share too much, too soon, people might get the feeling you're simply using them as a sounding board for your own issues and not genuinely interested in them as people. Be sensitive to the balance of the conversation. Open up when the time is right, not right off the bat. 5. Whipping out your phone. Don't you hate it when you're trying to talk to someone and they pull out their phone and start texting? So rude. Of course, when you do it, it's always for a good reason. You're not being rude at all. Guess again. Just like you get irritated when someone else does it to you, other people hate it when you whip out your phone mid-conversation. Nothing turns someone off to you like a mid-conversation text message or even a quick glance at your phone. When you commit to a conversation, focus all of your energy on the conversation. You'll find that conversations are more enjoyable and effective when you immerse yourself in them. It doesn't matter if it's a quick glance. It's still disrespectful and annoying to the person you're with. Sure, everyone does this, but if you're the one person who doesn't, people will like you that much more. Focus your attention on the person you're with, not on the glowing, buzzing rectangle in your purse or pocket. 6. Having a closed mind. If you want to be likable, you must be open-minded, which makes you approachable and interesting to others. No one wants to have a conversation with someone who has already formed an opinion and is unwilling to listen. Having an open mind is crucial in the workplace, where approachability means access to new ideas and help. To eliminate preconceived notions and judgment, you need to see the world through other people's eyes. This doesn't require that you believe what they believe or condone their behavior. It simply means that you quit passing judgment long enough to truly understand what makes them tick. It's no fun to talk to someone who already has her mind made up about every little thing. People who think they're always right are no fun to be around. No one likes a know-it-all. Part of being likable is having an open mind and listening to others without passing judgment or arguing with them until they see things your way. You don't have to agree with everything someone else says, but you do have to listen and truly make an effort to see things from their point of view. At least if you want people to like you, you do. The biggest mistake people make in conversation is being so focused on what they're going to say next or how what the other person is saying is going to affect them that they fail to hear what's being said. The words come through loud and clear, but the meaning is lost. A simple way to avoid this is to ask a lot of questions. People like to know you're listening, and something as simple as a clarification question shows that not only are you listening, but that you also care about what they're saying. You'll be surprised how much respect and appreciation you gain just by asking questions. Have you ever been in a conversation with someone who you could tell was just waiting for you to stop talking so they could say what they want to say? This lack of curiosity is symptomatic of someone who is so completely self-centered that they can't even hear you, and they wouldn't care what you're saying if they did hear. Don't be this person. Be curious about the people you're talking to. Ask them questions that show you're listening. Don't think of a snappy retort or formulate your own cute story while they're talking to you, and really focus on them with genuine interest. Doing this will earn you tons of respect and admiration because most people don't actually bother to do it. 7. Gossiping. Look, we all enjoy indulging in a little gossip now and then, but there's a limit to how much gossip you can get away with before you end up sounding like an ass. Eleanor Roosevelt famously said, quote, "Great minds discuss ideas, average minds discuss events, small minds discuss people." And while she may have been missing out on the fun of a juicy gossip session, she wasn't entirely wrong. Gossip can make you sound petty, spiteful, and just plain mean. So try to limit your gossip to things that you wouldn't be entirely ashamed of saying if they got out. Because let's face it, they probably will. That's the nature of gossip. So keep it light and friendly. People make themselves look terrible when they get carried away with gossiping. Wallowing in talk of other people's misdeeds or misfortunes may end up hurting their feelings if the gossip ever finds its way to them. But gossiping is guaranteed to make you look negative and spiteful every time. Final thoughts. The easiest way to figure out if you have a trait that puts others off is to learn from others. If there's something about someone else that you don't appreciate, then make sure you don't have that in you. But always remember to be your own self. We've all been in a conversation where the person we're speaking to does or says something, and, well, we instantly feel uncomfortable or even instantly dislike that person for what they just said or did. Sometimes we genuinely disagree with the person or find their opinion or perspective completely different to ours. However, sometimes the person we're speaking to just misinterprets the situation or tries to be funny or start some banter with us, but their attempt falls flat. And Well, as a result, we take it the wrong way. We've all been in a conversation and tried to make a funny or sarcastic comment or tried to start some banter with the person we're speaking with, and our attempt has fallen flat. The good news is, there are very definite things you can do to avoid your comments or attempts at humor falling flat like this, or people's perceptions of your attempt at sarcasm being taken the wrong way. There are bound to be things that you do that will put people off. None of us are perfect, but that doesn't mean you can't try and change the way you do things. Coming up with solutions to alter your behavior and ignore others' negative vibes is easy. All you need is the intention. When you build your awareness of how your actions are received by other people, you pave the way to becoming more likable. Think and act now. There will always be people who will dislike you, no matter what you do. If you have tried everything possible to make up, then it's probably time to let it be and move on with your life. People who cause you stress aren't worth spending time on. Whether they hate you or not, if you can't communicate with them in a way that's acceptable to both of you, it will serve your best interests to forgive and forget. Don't create drama around whether or not someone hates you, or even create drama about the fact that someone hates you. The other people in your community, whether it's your friends, your family, or your coworkers, will thank you to keep drama to a minimum. If you can't come to an agreement with someone, then avoiding them is probably the best option. Don't pester them by trying to figure out whether they hate you. Even trying to make it better can be adding to the problem if you aren't getting anywhere with it. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, comment, and especially subscribe to the channel. You are also free to receive the new book, 7 Secrets to Change Your Life Now, by clicking on the link in the description down there below the video.